Welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to regroup after Open Farm Days for the first time. And today's meeting really is that recap, that chance for you to share some of your stories and for us to share some of the high level stuff that happened with Open Farm Days this year. And then to talk a little bit about our thematics and what we have in store for next year to come. Following this session, we will be sending out some information. One is by the numbers from Open Farm Days along with this presentation. And of course, we're always available to chat. Nicola,
I'm going to start this presentation.
Wonderful.
All right, can everyone see that okay?
You're not in slideshow yet?
There we go. That better?
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start off with a little video from Good Morning.
It was a lot of work in preparation, but I think if you're prepared, do your homework, talking to your county, talking to your provincial representatives, kind of finding out what you need to do, and then blasting it on social media really helped with the numbers. Just being prepared. We had a lot of people here to help us. And we had 22 people in yellow shirts today, and without them, there's no way we could have done it. Being prepared and thinking through scenarios of what are people going to see, what are they going to do if they arrive here and they have a few minutes to kill, are they going to be bored? Thinking about the experiential opportunities that you can give them. So people want to come here, they don't want to just do a tour, they want to actually experience it, they want to taste it, they want to see it, they want to feel it. So thinking in terms of if you were going to a farm, what would you want to do? How would you want to spend your day?
All right, so that's a little snapshot.
Sorry. Oh, got excited then.
All right, it's a little snapshot. We have these videos and other videos also in our host resource session. So just a reminder that you can go and check in on there. Nicola, you have updated the host registration and sign in for this year. And so we will be sharing the new codes. We just typically update it each year, so that will come out with this information as well. And for those of you that have already registered, will probably have received that as well. So our team is the same, but sometimes we have new people on these. So it's great to just have a bit of a refresher. Suzanne leads the charge and manages all things Open Farm Days. And she's in charge of sort of the overall guidance of the program, details around the portable toilets and things like that. So she is your go-to person. When you send your emails to info@Open Farm Days, that will go to the full, pretty much Open Farm Days team. So Suzanne, Nicola will receive those emails and kind of respond. So that's a great sort of generic box to send any general questions that you have for Open Farm Days. I support with the regulatory and culinary and management of those programs, and Nicola deals with the media marketing as well. And then we have two people that you probably come across every once in a while. So we have both Chris and Maria, and they are more seasonal. So they come on once we get into the thick of things, helping with digital and web updates and things like that. But your three primary contacts for Open Farm Days are the three of us. And hopefully we can help answer your questions and provide the guidance that you need for the program. So it is a pretty small, lean and mean team, but we try and get things done for you. All right. Everyone here is aware what Open Farm Days is, but I always like to talk about it a little bit. And our goal really is to help educate and draw awareness for the farms and for agriculture. And for some people, that opportunity to use this to create an extra revenue stream, to learn about how agritourism can work for you on an ongoing basis, I think is a really great opportunity. Some people, of course, use Open Farm Days purely as education. They don't sell anything, they don't promote anything. It's a chance for them to connect with their with the folks from the city and explain what they do, and it's also their chance to connect with their local community and show people what they're doing. I did see the question, and yes, this presentation will come out afterwards, and you will have copies of this. And we have many presentations and other pieces of information that are on our website that you have access to throughout the year. All right. Next, Nicola. So we do something each year called By the Numbers. This is a little sort of 4-page booklet, and you can find this on the website as well, but we will be sending this out with a recap from this meeting as well. What's interesting about By the Numbers is it gives us a little bit of history on Open Farm Days, and it talks about how the program has changed over the years. So from a high level standpoint, this year, we had 133 farms. So we were up another 10 farms over last year. 76 of our farms had some sort of food offerings, whether it be a breakfast or a lunch or a barbecue or a dinner. And that is up 6 from last year. We have, and again, our numbers are reported back by you, and we have a really high level of engagement from our farms. So thank you for sharing your information. That allows us to have more and more accurate information. And I'm pleased to say we've never had more responses back from the farms as we're getting these years now that we've gone for digital reporting. But we estimate that we move between 36,000 and 40,000 people around the province for Open Farm Days. And we have some pretty ambitious goals to grow those numbers. And we have some plans to help do that as well. Our estimated revenue from Open Farm Days is just shy of about 300,000 farm generated. So lots of different numbers that are in there. So you'll have a chance to be able to dig into that a little bit more when we send it out. But just wanted to touch on some of those pieces, and you'll find a little bit more information in the By the Numbers section as well. So what is new in 2023? We did a couple of different things. This is the first time that we've worked with an artist to create a graphic. Nicola, who is our guru for media and marketing, was saying, you know, while Open Farm Days really is about all of the farms, and it is and will always be about that, having a media hook, having a different storyline to talk about allows us to actually create more conversations and different conversations than we would get each year. So our agreement as an organization is continue to work with thematic years, and this will allow us really to get a little bit more share of the media as our program goes through the years. You know, Nicola was finding that the media was, oh, right, Open Farm Days are great. That's your number 10, you know, so what? So really that is why we've chosen to focus on this. So we had a beautiful piece of artwork for this year, and Liz Buller-Page was the artist, so an Indigenous artist, and our animal, of course, was bison. And in being able to work with this, we were able to get really a little bit more exposure. We did hear back from a number of our farms as well that do collectives where they invite other people to their farms. And what we found was that they were able to get more engagement by targeting. So they said, hey, here's what we're doing. And then they had a bunch more people come and sign up because it sort of fit with some of the things that they were doing. So they took loosely some of our thematic and then did their own riff on it, which we love. So yes, and thank you. I saw that about the coloring pages. Again, trying to find a few more opportunities to have some resources for kids. So we are very pleased with the feedback from this year. So that is something we are continuing with, and there'll be a bit more information at the end. A few other things that were new for 2023. We had a few new training modules. We, of course, do some of the basics because we're always onboarding new farms. So it's important for us to have that introductory information. But based on feedback from our year-end summary, we were asked for insurance training, ag financing, and exploring your farm brands. So we created some new modules just to help people kind of explore some new training opportunities. And this is an ongoing thing. So please, if you think of something that you would like some training in or some extra resources, please let us know. We're happy to go out there and find some people to come and talk to us and help explain things. We saw some great engagement for some of those sessions, and there were some really neat ideas. Wonderful. I see someone sent an email. All right. So that's some of the new training. We also worked with a new booking tool called Front Door. And this is something that I am really going to strongly encourage people to work with. And some farms do, some farms don't. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, for Open Farm Days, we pay the blanket coverage, so there's no cost to anyone that's hosting a free event. What this registration can give you is an idea of how many people might be coming to your farm. If you are very small and you want to spread them out over the day, you can actually select the time slots. If you are large and can host many, many, many people, you do not have to put a limit on the number, but what that will give you is a database of who is coming, and it will give you their contact information. So it starts to create some interesting information for you to have about who's coming to your farm. So I think that's something that's a valuable tool. And each and every year, there's usually something interesting going on with weather in at least one corner of the province. And each year when something's happening, we'll have a farm call us saying, hey, it's flooding out here. Surely you're canceling Open Farm Days, but we all know it's not flooding in Medicine Hat. So when you've got access to a database of people that are coming to your farm, if for some very unfortunate reason you're not able to be there or something has happened, you actually have a database that you have full access to and control of and can communicate with those people, so you can send that information out. So we will be talking more about booking later, but for those of you not using it, I would suggest that there's a very strong reason for everyone to use it, whether it be for creating your own databases, a new network of people, or simply for communicating should you have to. So we can talk a little bit more about that, and I'd love any feedback from people that have used it as well. We did switch our providers, which I think based on some of the feedback that we had, so that there's no financial information or banking information or anything that has to be provided. All they need is your personal information. So hopefully that makes that a little bit easier for some people. A couple of key learnings for us: 17% of our farms are open for Open Farm Days. So a lot of these are businesses not open year round for agritourism, but they're starting to explore it. So we'd love to see those people come on board. Some are exploring agritourism, and as mentioned before, some are purely exploring the educational opportunity to share what they do. The average visitors per farm is 269 people, and the spend is anywhere from $0 to $10,000 a day. Zero because some people, again, are having free things and they are not looking for this as a commerce angle. That is not what their goal is. So, and for 10,000, obviously, as a daily number, you have to have quite a bit of things prepared and available for sale. But it just shows that that is a very real potential for some of the businesses. Now, what's interesting is the average spend per person is somewhere around $9.07. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. We also know that when people go to a traditional market, they will spend upwards of $70. So we know that there is quite a bit of room for that number to grow for those of our farm partners that want to grow that number. It is just a question of having, the products and the items available for sale. But we're coming in at, I think, at a pretty nice number. And as I mentioned, we're getting more and more reporting back. So our numbers now are based on 61% of our farms reporting. So very, very pleased with that number. I will say in the early years, we were closer to that sort of 20% reporting rate. So with 61, our numbers are getting much, much more accurate. So thank you for that. Media and marketing. Nicola, I will hand this one to you to talk about, because we are having more and more success year after year. So thank you. And I'll leave you this slide.
Yeah, so we're marketing for a province-wide event. So, usually when you have an audience, you like to narrow it down to who that audience is. But when you're doing a province-wide event and you're marketing to families and to seniors and to single people and 20-year-olds, it makes it that much more challenging. So what we try and do is a lot of digital ads, so whether the Google, YouTube, to try and target people where they're at. So if someone's looking up things to do in our area, we're popping up. We're doing small town newspapers because not everyone is digital. So we're doing, we do a lot of newspapers in local communities, because again, we can't always, not everyone's on Facebook, not everyone's on Instagram, not everyone's on YouTube. So where we have a cluster, we'll have that local newspaper will do advertising. And also because, we want to be a good community partner as well. So making sure that we're advertising in community and putting money back in the community. And then we have a partnership with Chorus. So that is with radio and television, and they do online as well. So that covers, in Edmonton, covers Edmonton North, so Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray, Peace River. Calgary covers and some of Red Deer. Calgary also covers some of Red Deer and goes down to Lethbridge, and then we have Global Lethbridge as well that covers that Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, Pincher Creek region. So we try and try not to spray the province, but really looking at who our audience is, where they might be, and how we can reach them. An ongoing thing, because it's difficult to know exactly who our audience is, because we have many different audiences for Alberta Open Farm Days, is the growing part. And that's where we really lean on our farms to say, listen, we have 150 farms participating this year. We've got a couple million people in the province. We're obviously not going to be reaching all of them to help promote your event. So we're really relying as well on farms to make sure that they're promoting their own event and putting their own spin on it as well. That part is actually really vital, because and is part of a community marketing program, because these are your people. These are the people that, if you're selling eggs, that you're selling to, that can come back. These are your neighbors. These are your business owners. These are your friends and family that can come and help. So we spend close to $70,000 between our community newspapers, our online, as well as our TV and radio ads as well. And then the hope is that you guys can piggyback on what we're doing and help promote your event in your region as well.
Great. I thought this was really interesting. So we did ask for that feedback of, what are some of the top events and what worked best for you? And we had a lot of great feedback and ideas and stuff back. And, it's not surprising that those guided farm tours or barn tours really came up at number one. We grouped the food stuff, whether it be barbecues, dinners, food trucks, and picnics. People loved being able to eat. And of course, what it does is it extends the stay on the farm too. So it allows people to, to spend a little bit more time there. Hay rides and wagon rides are always high up on that list as well. Artisan markets, farmers markets, the ability to be able to buy that product and stuff is important. Feeding goats and chickens, that one always makes me laugh, but people just absolutely love those ones. And then those are the interactive kind of components for it, while the viewing and stuff is really important as well. We're seeing people ramp things up with kid activities as well. So we saw a lot more now kids craft tents, scavenger hunts, different sorts of things. And we're sort of trying to figure out our role, how we can work with you guys to provide some more activities for kids, for those that aren't naturally kind of inclined that way on your farms. So that was where our coloring sheets and stuff came in. So we're kind of working on some other ideas as well. U-picks were important, gardening talks in general, and alpacas and sheeps along the right hand side. I won't go through all of them, but you can see the ones that also had strong mentions. But just as an opportunity to start, give you some ideas, we will have a session early in 2024 around some ideas and thematics, particularly for kids, as we start to explore that, because that was one of the areas that people were asking for a little bit more help and support for. So we'll look forward to kind of diving into that list, and also hearing back from some of the farms here today of really what worked for you. All right, so training that was requested for this year, we had a request around how to deal with animal activists. So that will be our session next week. I will say we fortunately have not had any problems for open farm days, but we thought that that was actually a very valuable request. And should something happen, to have a quick little checklist on, oh gosh, somebody is here, so what can we do? So we will be having that session next week. One about sort of crisis basics. So we've seen a lot of different things pop up where somebody has said something or done something and they don't know how to deal with that. So we'll be tackling that one as well. Top activity for kids, as mentioned, that'll be closer to open farm days. And then we'll take a look at, we're doing some regional training as well with our cluster development. So there's a bunch of different things that are in there. And as mentioned, we're always open to whatever ideas you have to help find those people to come and talk to us. So this goes through our training calendar. You're here today, which means you've received this, which is absolutely wonderful. And so this just kind of gives us an overview of where we're going with training for this week. And I won't spend any time on this. And which brings us to our theme year. So that cute little critter right there is an alpaca. And our alpaca will be our critter of the year for this year. The reason we've chosen alpaca is it is from the United Nations. It is the year of the cameloid, and cameloids are Bactrian camels, alpacas, llamas. So what we are going to do is take that thematic around the alpaca, and we're also going to talk about the fiber story. So we'll be talking about sheep's wool, we'll be talking about fiber mills, we'll be talking about alpacas, all sorts of things. And again, the reason to have a theme animal is really to draw attention to open farm days as a whole, because something might catch your attention, but then of course they come and they visit all the farms. So that is what we're going to be doing with that. And we'll be discussing how we're approaching our thematic years, and we'll be able to share a little bit more information sort of in January about how we're going to roll out our thematic years and how people can get involved. This artist here, Kaylee Rose, is an Edmonton artist, and she does a lot of very kind of cute and charming things. I think the kids will love it for this year. So it's not as serious, but it's really friendly and hopefully something that everyone feels sort of engages, people are willing to engage with. Oh, thank you. We are looking at fun tattoos for the kids to have with this image on it. We also have this image put into a black and white coloring sheet, so people will be able to do that. And we're looking at a couple of other things as well. So that kind of brings us to the end of this. And this is where I would love to be able to offer the floor to anyone that would like to talk about kind of any of their experiences from this year, to talk about maybe some ideas and things that they'd like to take a look at, or have any questions about anything that we've talked about today. And
I would just like to say real quick, we haven't announced that to the media yet. So like as Tanis mentioned, this will be something that we will be announcing in January. We have a couple more tweaks and stuff to do. But yeah, this is kind of like the secret pass into what we're doing. That's what happens when you show up to the webinars, right? But there will be a media launch and et cetera about our theme for this year.
Wonderful. So I think
turn your videos and mics on if that is helpful. What is the best way for us to piggyback on your marketing? Honestly, it's to do your own marketing. I think that's the best thing. And it depends on what level you're comfortable with. And one thing that I would suggest, well, there's a couple of things I was suggesting. So if you have your own website, putting your events on there, if you have Facebook, Instagram, all those other things, making sure that you're investing time into promoting your event. So that could be behind the scenes, like this is what we're planning on doing, because a lot of people that are attending open farm days have never been to a farm before. And so you want to make them feel comfortable on what they can expect, that going to a farm during open farm days isn't a scary thing. If you have no farming experience, this is very new. They don't know what to expect and they don't know what they'll see. I liken it to, even if you go on vacation and you're going to, let's say, go to Disneyland and you've never been there before, like, where am I parking? What can I eat there? How expensive is it? Are the people nice? You know, is it going to be hot? All those things that you would question when you go on vacation are the same things that people are going to question when they come to your event. So anything that you can do ahead of time to market your event would be great. We've had farms that have purchased ads before. I mean, you know your community probably better than we do. So does your community read the coffee news? Do they read the local newspaper? Can you partner with your local municipality? There are quite a few local municipalities that do a lot of marketing. I'm just, Strathcona's one of them. So working with your local municipality, your economic development, anything like that, to help. Sometimes they have grants as well to help offset some of the costs for that as well. Red Deer County this year had some costing for that to help that. And also some of the communities do their own marketing as well. So if you find that your community is doing some marketing, how can you hop on that train? But being vocal about it too, kind of being the squeaky wheel, is always a good idea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd also add to that what some farms do as they're sort of looking at what their offerings are on their farm for open farm days is extending that invitation to neighboring farms that might not be participating. And by doing that, you're making your event larger. You're introducing future potential partners, which is great. I was in Lethbridge last week, and Farming Smarter brings a number of different local farms and vendors out to their space. And he said, you know, we lost a couple of farming partners last year because they had so much fun that they set up their own event. But what that does also is it creates a strong local cluster. So instead of having, a few things down in that area, you've got two more that are now your neighbors, which creates a bigger pull. And when we take a look at the fact we have 42,000 farms in Alberta, and we have somewhere around 150 for open farm days, there's a lot of farms out there that we can engage with. And if they're not ready to have it on their own property yet, they might be willing to work with you. And the more that we start to see stronger groups and larger offerings, then you've got communities that start working together. And that groundswell actually creates a lot of noise. So there's another fun way, for you to kind of take a look at what you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, does anyone here have something that they'd like to share about what they did on their farm? Come on, somebody's got to want to share something.
I know a certain farm that does hive tours on their farm because I've been to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be me. The one thing that I find, I think we're kind of learning, is that people are nervous to come to a apiary because they're scared of bees. So I think we need to figure something out for that. So yeah, and we're just so far away, so we're just not sure how to get a lot of people there. Last year was really a nice number for us. We're just a small place, so it was nice to just have enough, but it would be nice to have a few more. We did offer an art walk with our local art club this year, and they painted 6 supers, which are the hive boxes, and so people could come there, and then the kids or families could paint their own supers. So we will have those on our tours for 2024, the ones that will be, so that's kind of fun. I'm hoping that we can do that again. It does 2 things. It's just it gets people just in a different frame of mind, and they can see something different, and it makes our hives beautiful, really beautiful, and so it's always fun to see pretty hives. So I did not get the food truck this year just because I just felt like we didn't have enough numbers to bring other farmers market vendors or anything. I didn't get them. We just didn't have the numbers. So until we get numbers, it's kind of a vicious cycle to know you don't want someone to waste their day and make all this stuff for it if it's just going to be me buying it. It doesn't really help. So just some things to think about. Yeah. Looking forward to 2024.
Well, you have some exciting plans around developing a few other walking tours and stuff too.
Actually, this year I'm starting in January, hoping to talk with the museum and hopefully get some information about we have a historic rail line that goes through our property.
Oh.
So just offering just walks in the bush. We offered it last year, but not a lot of people did that. Junior forest rangers come and help do the trails, and they were taking tours and offering hot dogs and marshmallows and stuff down on our trails. But this year we'd like to have a little bit more information about the historic railroad down there. So hopefully people come and see a little bit about that. It didn't last long, but there's still lots of spikes to be found. So we'll see what happens on that. Keep you
That's
posted.
very exciting.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on that one.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Hey,
All
can
right.
I hop in? My name is Carly. I'm from Prairie Berry YYC. We're a Saskatoon berry farm in Indus. We actually didn't take part last year, but the year before. And I'm super duper excited about this year. But I mean, I'm also really passionate about like the cultural perspective of the products that we have and traditional and things like that. So from an idea perspective, we have Saskatoon berries, and we've actually I've got a really great connection in the Siksika Nation in a wellness community, a wellness center. And I've reached out to them to collaborate with us and help educate more on like the native traditions with Saskatoon berries. So kind of bringing that educational side to the community. What I've kind of struggled a bit with farm days, our UPIC is always completely offset to the dates. So we have to get really kind of creative, and we've still had people come and we still educate and kind of speak about it, but it kind of sucks sometimes because we don't have berries on the bushes anymore. So that's been a bit of a challenge for me, but yeah, I mean, I work a lot with social media, and I'm going to say to everybody, like, seriously, like, let's push this because it's such a great opportunity to teach and educate. That's it.
Lovely. That's wonderful. So just a question. So if you're working with Siksika and stuff, are you going to look at doing maybe like a berry soup or pemmican and things like that?
Yeah, so I have a meeting with her. She's actually one of our clients. She always comes every UPIC, like multiple times to pick with her whole family. And I have already reached out to her. We'll have a meeting in January just to kind of strategize. But so just a little backstory. So my husband and I have been doing the UPIC now for 3 years, but it's his family's farm. They've been here for 23 years. And we're trying to breathe new life into this experience. And I'm just very much like community driven, and I just want to get this thing going. So yeah, so we're looking at definitely getting them involved to see if we can do some kind of, pemmican or something like that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Very exciting. I think people would love that kind of experience. So
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed where your farm is.
We're in Indus. It's a hamlet just outside of the Calgary city limits.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have something they'd like to share?
Okay. Hello. My name
Hello.
is Sky. This is Phyllis. We work with DNA Gardens. We are a U-Pick farm. Um, and we also have a winery here. We pick all sorts of different berries. This year, we didn't have great numbers. And we do accept fault for that. We didn't advertise. We had a really crazy year and we just didn't have our heads into the whole marketing side of it. The year before that, we did extremely well and we were super busy. So we definitely want to turn it back around for 2024. But we had lots of things going on. We had a small petting zoo. We had different vendors here. We have a cafe on site as well. We have multiple different kinds of walks that people can do. Um, wagon rides, yeah. And I think we had plums still at that time, or we did have plums. We're working on an apple orchard and a haskap orchard to offer more for our U-Pick. And yeah, we really do love being a part of Farm Days. And we weren't a part of the front door ticketing platform, but we definitely will be next year. So yeah, we're just looking to increase our numbers. We kind of have the setup. We just need the people.
Wonderful.
It's interesting to me is that, like, you know, there's so, like, it's basically all I do from May till Open Farm Days weekend is just marketing, 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 marketing. And then just to know that what the difference is between doing your own versus, you know, relying on, you know, what we're doing
Yeah,
is interesting to me because, you know, we are kind of spraying it out to the entire province, but having that really local marketing is just, it just proves how important it is.
it is indeed.
So
Yeah.
thank you for your case study. 'Cause
Yeah. Our pleasure.
yeah, because it does really make an impact because these are your followers, these are your fans, these are people that already love you. And these are people in your community as well. So did you find that people that came to your farm last year, was it a different audience? Was these people from your community or were they more outsiders?
I think like we're by Elnora, which is kind of in the middle of just a lot of farmland. And so we had quite a few people come from Red Deer. We had people come from Calgary. But overall, probably over the whole weekend, we just had 100 people where I wasn't here the year before that, but I heard that we had on the first day about 100 people by noon on the farm all at once. So yeah, we definitely need to be more proactive this year. And we already are being this winter, we're getting very organized and just set up, but yeah, hit the ground running, hopefully.
Yeah.
We didn't get the local people because we didn't advertise locally enough.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering if the people that came to your farm were the new people because they saw it through, you know, other channels.
Turn
And
left.
the people that you were missing were the local people that are already your fans, that
Yeah,
they're already
because
engaged.
I think
with
a
what
lot
you
of
do.
the people came because they saw it at the markets. We had a poster up at our markets in Gasoline Alley and stuff. And I think those are the people that came more than the local people.
Yeah, because we have
Because they
markets
didn't
in
know
Red
about
Deer
it.
and Calgary.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
I do feel a little bit bad for the vendors, though. I wish they would have had more people to buy their things, you know.
Yeah.
But there's always next year.
Yeah, and that's where the booking tool is handy too. So you can really get an idea of who's coming. At least it's not going to be exact, right? But at least gives you an idea. We've got 20 people coming between 12 and 1 or whatever.
Totally. And on that, can they sign up for the events that are going on at your farm on that booking tool?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there's a couple of components to it. So what we offer, we cover the cost for the free one. So anyone having free pieces, if you want to sell something, whether you want to sell products or experiences, you can also have people sign up for those, or you can just use the free booking component and then they can do the add-ons directly with you when they get there.
Okay,
But
yeah.
for me, there's no reason to not do it. because it'll give you a database. It'll give you an idea. You might find, oh my gosh, we've got 600 people signed up already. We need more volunteers, or we've got 8. So, okay, let's sort of plan accordingly. And the one thing that does typically come back is when people are coming from further away, they generally register. When it is your neighbors and people from the community, they think they can show up without registering. So that is generally what'll happen. It won't capture everybody, but it'll capture most of the people coming from further away. And every year we get some farms saying, it's frustrating because none of the local people used it. And I'm like, yeah, well, we can't stop your neighbors. Your neighbors think that they can just show up. So that's not going to change.
Yeah,
But
here. Which is great.
It is. Yeah. And often they're coming to support and do stuff. So the more you market locally as well, then people will be like, oh, we should go see them. So that's that wonderful community support, but it's very hard to document and capture those numbers. And honestly, I don't think we'll ever be able to. So
do you guys work with like Tourism Alberta or Travel Drumheller, Destination Red Deer, is it? Or Stettler? There you go.
Yes. So we work with Travel Alberta. So they're one of our partners overall for Open Farm Days. So that is one of ours, and they will broadcast what we do as well. In terms of the regional DMOs and stuff like that, no, not so much. And that's where the opportunity for the Outlook regionally is to find out who can help support your initiatives. Who can you take that profile that you've created, that storytelling, that poster that's all about what you do, and how can you share that locally? And you share it back with us as well, and Nicola can help amplify your message. We are working with some regions as part of a cluster development program where we're trying to get sort of a combination of community futures and the tourism people and diverse groups working together to be able to start to broaden our reach. But we sort of really encourage everybody independently to do those things as well. And I was in Lethbridge last week, and one of the farms was telling me, here's what I do. I outreach to the radio stations. I send out, hey, here's what we're doing, and gets a ton of exposure that way. So there are things that we were doing province-wide, but anything that you can do to use Open Farm Days as a platform to catapult what you're doing, have at it. You have access to the logos and to our stuff, and to be able to do your storytelling under our umbrella. What people love about Open Farm Days is it's province-wide, it's free, and it's all about education. So it's very easy for media outlets to get behind it.
Awesome.
Oh. Hi there. I had a couple of questions. I'm representing the Pritis and Millerville Fair. We run 2 days, the same on the same days as Open Farms. Our Millerville market has been part of Open Farms, and we felt, that it seemed appropriate that we partner. We still have to go to committee and decide, but that we wanted to partner with Open Farms. There's a number of clusters of farms around us, and we really wanted to, we're all about community support, like your ag tourism, your agricultural literacy is a primary focus for us around traditional events, having stock dogs, Western horse, all these kinds of things. But there is also the market component, and we have exhibits of field crops and bench competitions and things like that. So I'm super excited about this. I think that there's a lot of compatible marketing also that's going to be going on. And so there was a couple of things. I had made that quick comment on chat about Print Map, like how they've got like art walks and, saying about like, is it Christy? Anyways, you were talking about how you were creating walks, but for us, it's more the drive. But
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
it's
seeing
a
your
drive.
interactive map and love it, but wondering about posters that would create a map of the clusters in our area. Don't know if that's possible. I'd heard you guys do media takeovers. I don't know if,
Yeah.
yeah. So then I was wondering about your media schedule information, and we do have some pretty, we're doing media development, of course, but just really want to talk about this some more, right? And the creation of what we've been talking about too is reaching out to seniors lodges and things like that, right? Because we want to make sure that these people who um, identify so strongly with the agricultural roots are included and also get to have experiences that they would have experienced like through their lifetime, but are no longer available to them. So we're really interested in that. And also kid volunteers, making sure that we've got a lot of the youth included in our volunteer asks. So I guess, like I say, my main thing is your media schedule information, just talking way more about that, like with
Sure.
someone offline even.
Yeah, I can answer some of the questions real quickly. In
Sure.
terms of the cluster map, so we do have a printable map that you can access on the website, which
Okay.
isn't really available until all of our farms are registered.
Yeah.
So once everyone's registered, the deadline is passed, then that gets updated on the website.
What
In
date is
terms
that
of,
approximately? Sorry.
so
What's
well,
the
the
deadline?
deadline this year is April 30th.
Okay.
So you know, and then there's like the stragglers that will come in on May 1st. But and the reason why we do it so early is because we provide signage and it takes a while to get the signage out, and then we have to disperse the signage across every corner of the province. So that just takes a while. Thankfully, we have a really great partner with PV that helps us with that. But it is an undertaking. And because if you didn't know, there are some places that are really far from other places. So it's not like just a case of driving it to Red Deer. You know, everyone could be an hour or two from any place. So anyway, enough about that. The media partnership is something that we have a PR firm that does our media buy for us, and they negotiate with Chorus. But the television, radio ads, and the newspaper ads do not start until August. So there will be nothing happening now. So because there's no point. No one's paying attention until like it's go time. The last piece is that, but what we do in the interim is that we will feature farms. We will talk about open farm days. We will talk about who our local artist is. This year with our cameloids, we'll talk about, you know, alpacas, between alpacas and llamas, and we'll create the content around the ag education piece leading up, and then also feature farms. So if you have something happening between now and August, the best time is to email me, because our focus is ag education and ag tourism. So, you know, if you have a farmer's market or whatever, we have an event calendar on our website that you can put things in. I'm more than happy to share it. There's not a lot of ag content that I could create in December. So anything that you have, I'm happy to share. And then if the takeovers and stuff start to happen around, if you're interested, around March, April, May, the struggle is with that is that if you're talking about your event, no one's going to remember. So those takeovers are primarily for just talking about what it is that you do, why what you do is important, your area, your local area. You can talk a little bit about your event, but what we want to do is create that awareness piece so that when people come to book their event in August, like, oh, I remember this about, you know, they had a farmer's market or they have an orchard or they have whatever. So just to kind of keep the conversations moving throughout the year. But if you're trying to pull people to book to come to your event in March for an August event, they're not remembering unless they're super hyper organized. So it's really more about creating awareness and the ag education piece.
Sorry, where would you send that information to?
Just email me. I can I'll put my email
Which
in
one was yours? Oh, thank you.
the chat. But yeah, if you've got anything going on, and I can send this out with our other information as well. that I'm going to send out later because this is being recorded. So I'll send this recording back out to you guys, but anything that you would need to know. So that's my email there. I can send you email. So, and then I'll also send out the link as well if you have an event upcoming, and that you can just pop it in there, and then I can help promote that as that happens.
There's a couple of questions in there about the artwork. So right now we're currently, we're still using the bison artwork for now until we launch our 2024 initiative. So Nicola will be able to send that out to everybody, all of our registered farms, as soon as that image is released for use. So right now it's still kind of internal. But if anyone wants a high res of the bison one as well to use, that one's still active.
Yeah, and they're all on the back end of the website and the host resources, which I can include that on my email as well.
Yeah. So yeah, so again, there is an updated passcode that will come out. And if you've registered, when you register, I think the passcode generates automatically.
It does.
So
yeah.
you'll get, as soon as you put your farm information in to register, you'll get that information as well.
There's also a question in there on signage. Yes, we would like you to reuse your signs year over year if possible. So if you did receive a sign in 2023, we would like you to use it again for 2024.
So our signs, and Suzanne, you'll know the numbers better than anybody, but the cost of just running those signs is very expensive every year. So it's just, if we can get 2 and 3 years out of each sign, it just allows our dollars to go to other marketing initiatives and things like that. So we do, you know, anything that we can reuse, we're happy to.
And we're not for profit, so be gentle.
Those signs last a long time if you take care of them.
They do. You just need to kind of put them in a safe spot in your garage, and then they're good.
Yeah. And the buttons too.
Yes.
Wonderful. Any other questions? And again, feel free to email us anytime or pick up the phone. Happy to talk to everybody, walk them through ideas and thoughts, however we can help. We're here to help support your initiatives as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
I
right.
just have a quick comment. Just never underestimate the things that you think don't really care. I had an aha moment with one of the tours this summer. They came for the bee tour, and then there was a large group, so I took part of the group for a walk, and part of them had a bee tour. And the biggest thing that they liked was jumping on the moss down in our bush. So whatever, so just never, you never know what people really are going to make the memory. They probably spent 10-15 minutes taking pictures of them jumping on the moss. So
that's fun.
So I just want to share one more thing about the fair. And we tried to do a bunch of different things last year. And we partnered with Alberta Institute for Wildlife Conservation, and we made a poop identification station. And what it was there was wild animals and domestic animals, and people needed to match the poop to the picture, and some species kind of, forage information and stuff like that. They were saying they lost count over 2 days from 1,200 people. Like, they just said that, and they kept on coming.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like,
but you don't know what you don't know.
Guy.
Yeah.
What's that?
But you just don't know what you don't know. And then if you never have that, interaction, like I need to come to Lac La Biche and jump on your moss, I think. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Jumping.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing either, but apparently it was. And we happened to be the one place in the province that actually was wet. And so, maybe that wasn't crunchy. It was crunchy everywhere else, but we had wet moss, so maybe that was it.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm new to farming, and I had never heard of chicken bingo before, and become obsessed with chicken bingo. It's absolutely hilarious.
And you know
Joanna,
what? If you end up making a little reel or something from that, take a short video clip, and then you could promote that again this year.
Yeah.
Little things like that.
And Joanne, I think for your page, we have to do something like a don't be afraid and facts about bees.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. So, because yeah, I think there is quite a few people that would be like, I'm never taking my kids out there. Like, you know, like it is what it is. People are just freaked out, right?
Yeah, I think we can have some fun with something like that though. Okay, and then there's a question, Nicola. Now you got to explain.
I gotta explain chicken bingo. Okay, so it's bingo, but it's a bigger board, and then it's got your bingo numbers on it, and everyone gets bingo cards. And wherever the chicken poops is, you dab your number, and then you wait for someone to get a line or full house or whatever. They're there all day. You get a full house. Yeah, it's hilarious. But apparently, it's a thing as well that I had no idea about.
Yeah,
maybe we could do bee bingo.
You could do bee bingo, yeah.
In the spring.
Yeah. Where they poop all over your bingo thing. Yeah.
I will say I've seen the Who's Poo done in a couple of different places, and my only recommendation is keep it away from the burger stations. They had the two stations side by side, and like
no.
probably didn't help the burger sales. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Lovely to see everyone. And again, keep your questions coming, your emails, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.